One of the things I have to, I don't know, I constantly think about, we talk about it on the show, and I feel bad too, because I often say, how are we ever going to live with Republicans and with, it's not Republicans, conservatives, and how is there hope for this country? Will we have to break this country up? And I'm always like, yeah, go secede. And then I think about, the normal people that live in the old Confederacy. Of course, Mike lives in Georgia, and of course you live in West Virginia, and I feel for the normal people of this country, but I often wonder, how are we ever gonna move forward? But then you say things like, there's such the beautiful country. Of course, it's beautiful, but I don't know. What do you think? Can we ever move forward as a country unified?
I don't think we've ever been. I forget who the Greek philosopher was, Tara, that said you never put your finger in the same river twice. And I don't think I don't think we have ever, from one day to the next, been the same country. Right. Maybe some monarchies are, but no, not us.
Right.
And so, the question for me is, can we be a better country, or are we going to get monstrously worse?
Well, this is where I run into the two sides. The way I'm thinking is I'm of two minds. Some days I think, okay, we will be able to overcome this horrific time, but then the other days I'm like, no, there's absolutely no hope, because right now I'm looking at a website. It's called thewriting.com, RIGHTING,
sure,
writing, like right wing, and it categorizes all of the headlines on right wing media. And they really are living in an alternate universe. They're talking about, the headline right at the top is, agitators in the Capitol crowd sabotaged the peaceful gathering of Trump supporters on January 6th. So it was paid agitators. The next headline is, George Soros, the most dangerous man alive. I mean, this is what they're discussing, and it's not based in reality. I wish George Soros was the most dangerous man alive. Frankly.
Oh, please.
I really do.
I know. Because there wouldn't be very dangerous people on this planet
exactly.
if he was.
If he was the most dangerous man alive, we'd be in damn good shape.
Yeah, it would be like most dangerous man alive, George Soros, second most dangerous person alive, Avon lady. I mean,
right. Because I often ask these right-wingers, well, I'm not to their faces, because I don't really deal with them. People say, oh, why don't you have me on your show to debate? I don't debate right-wingers. I leave them behind like evolution does. Do you know what I mean? We have to continue to move forward and reach the people who are reachable. They're not reachable, but,
I get the same thing, Tara, over at headon.live. You should have this right-winger on. And no. I'm old enough now that, at the end of my program every evening, I thank everybody, and I do it every evening, and I do so sincerely from the bottom of my heart. I thank people for sharing the precious finite time of their limited existence on this little planet.
Yep.
Because this ain't dress rehearsal. There ain't going to be no pearly gates, and it sounds like a pretty damn boring place in the first place. I want to wring every drop of life out of this that I can, and throwing away those precious finite moments, talking to somebody, and you offer up your good faith argument. Well, everybody needs to be able to go to the doctor when they're sick. Families should not be ruined by medical debt. I mean, just to take one issue, and you go, and now and they go, poopy head.
Right, exactly.
How? I mean, that's our side debating right wingers just seems so. It seems so performative. It seems so professional wrestling, because the Red Terror beats the Blue Monstrosity Saturday night down at the Armory, but at another Armory on another Saturday night next week, the Blue Monstrosity is going to beat the Red Terror. It's just performance.
Yes, and it gives legitimacy to their arguments as well by elevating them to some kind of just like that they are worthy for discourse when it's not. It's one thing to have a debate. That's great. Bring your ideas to the table. And this is the other thing that drives me insane. There's what ideas do they have? What new ideas? They have the oldest ideas on the planet, and that is make the rich richer and everybody else get in their place. But I wondered if I asked them, metaphorically or whatever it is, hypothetically, that if George Soros gets his way, right? What's the consequences? What's the ultimate end game for George Soros? His taxes go up, his businesses are regulated, his employees get living wages and health care and retirement security because it belongs to all of us. So what's the end game for George Soros? What's this nefarious plot that's being played out?
That's a really rotten profit plan, Tara.
Right? Exactly. So what is it? And they're so conspiratorial, but they don't see the actual conspiracies unfolding in front of them, which is it's just basically the old conspiracy of making the rich richer and everybody else getting in their place and shutting up. That's the whole thing. Yeah, and it makes me wonder. That's another example of it. Well, on over here on our side, we think everybody who's eligible to vote should be able to vote. Right.
And how about you? Shut up!
Yes, exactly.
Libtard!
Or liberal tears. This is the other thing. So yesterday was
killing democracy to own the libs.
Yes, exactly. So yesterday we had to endure the Republican tweets about how patriotic they are. The same people who voted to overturn an insurrection, if not incited the insurrection, and are continuing to do so. So what does it mean? What's patriotism? What does it mean to be a patriot? They certainly love waving the flag, but they don't really understand.
And that segues so well into one of the stories that I had here for today. You remember when they had the Trump maggot boat parade and swamped a bunch of boats in Texas? Yes.
Well, is this the one where they were harassing some people because they had a gay flag on their boat?
That's another one. And their own boat got sunk, and they were saved by the people with the gay flag.
They should just left them in the water. That's another example of Republicans never taking responsibility. Hey, part of your personal responsibility. We'll send the Coast Guard for you. Okay, bye.
Yeah,
that's what I don't know. We got to be so generous constantly. Leave them in the water. Let them learn. Anyway, go ahead.
How long can? Yeah, it's like the old joke they told in the Baptist church when I was growing up. And God looks down at Noah and says, "How long can you tread water?" Yeah, no, really, how long? There was another one. There have been more. Old Hickory Lake. I've been there. I mean, this stuff goes back last year, 2020. But the upshot of it is, there was an article over at the Daily Beast just talking about what horrible sailors they are. And the pull quote from it is, they don't know what they're doing.
Right. The Trump boat. Yeah, I'm looking at the headline at Salon. It says Trump boat parade slammed for chaos and destruction. Isn't that well, that's just them, right? Anywhere you add a Trumpanzee and you'll get chaos and destruction. But yeah, sorry.
Well, no. It's just that they're such monumental screw ups, and they're proud of it.
Yes, that's their birthright.
Hey, we tried to destroy constitutional governance in the United States, MAGA, y'all.
Right, exactly. That's what they think. Being a complete and utter douche is their American birthright. That's what it means to be a patriot, to annoy other Americans, normal people who just going about their day. We all got to be annoyed by these people. Oh, and then they want to drink your tears, which is another example of the fact that they're not patriots. Because what kind of person wants to drink the tears of their fellow countrymen? Really?
Well, but we aren't. We aren't. I mean, I can't remember how long ago it was, Tara, that I coined the phrase, and this is mine. It really was. Cold Civil War.
Yes.
Because this crap was going on as far back, and the other thing that I keep trying to hammer on is that we do ourselves no good service if we delude ourselves into thinking that this is a product of Donald Trump.
Yes,
exactly. It is not. Mm-hmm. I like I said, I started talking about Cold Civil War back during the reign of the dimwit that Malloy unlovingly refers to as Raisin Brain.
Right.
And Richard B. Dick Cheney before he dicks you. They were awful then too, and that's the bottom line. They do not view you. They do not view me. They do not view truth seekers, the Democrats, liberals, progressives. None of us are their fellow countrymen.
That's right. That's why it gets on my nerves. Like, for example, when Joe Biden went to the Florida building collapse, and he was giving his remarks to the press, and in there he's saying, well, these aren't Republicans and Democrats, these are Americans that are coming to help. And we always have to get this reminder from
we got them. They have the most delicate, dainty, tender fifis of anybody on earth, and we got to make sure that we don't hurt them.
Yes, it's
because
see, look, we're in this together.
I mean, if you walk up to a maggot and he's hitting himself in the head with a ball-peen hammer, you have to say, listen, we're all Americans here. All Americans don't hit ourselves in the head with ball-peen hammers. Not, hey, you moron, quit hitting yourself in the head with a ball-peen hammer.
Right. This isn't a Republican hammer or a Democratic hammer. And they would say Democrat, of course, instead of Democratic, which that drives me insane.
Oh, it crawls all over me.
Yes, because these are people that can't even say the name of the party. Now, I've watched on corporate media where some whiny Republican will be on, talking about how divisive. I thought that Joe Biden was supposed to bring us together. I knew when Joe Biden started saying that on the campaign that he was going to heal the hearts or whatever the hell, that they would constantly throw that in his face. But it's the Republicans. What do we expect from them? They can't even say Democratic Party.
Yeah, but Tara, that's a failure of messaging on our part.
Right, exactly.
Because we need to explain to them, hey guys, call it the Democratic Party. Right. That way you get to say ick at the end of Democrat.
Right. Just say, that's why I call them Republicans. But even on the corporate media mouthpieces, they don't even correct them. So nope. Right in the middle of them complaining that Joe Biden isn't unifying everybody, they'll throw in the old Democrat Party, which it's just a gang sign. That's what it is. It's the equivalent of a gang sign, throwing a gang sign to the rest of the Republicans, really. They'll just, yeah, I'm with you, wink, wink. So how can we unify when they can't even say the name of the party? It's the oldest continuous political party in history, founded by Thomas Jefferson. These people don't, they have no respect. There is no there's no patriotism. I mean, look at what they've done to this country. They can have an insurrection and there's no accountability. So how? Anyway, that's why I say all the time. I know.
But so what you said with no accountability is so true. And we got, everybody's had their 4th of July weekend here in the United States, and there's stuff to talk about out of that. But you just reminded me of something when you said there's no accountability for these insurrectionists. Mm-hmm. And frankly, being sentenced to 40 hours of community service and no jail time is really... I don't think that strikes fear into the heart of insurrectionists everywhere. Exactly. Oh, Jesus, really? I'm going to have to work at the homeless shelter if I try to overturn the government? No. I'll not do that again. Meanwhile, though, a person that I deem to be a wonderful human being just got sentenced to, wait for this because you're going to hoot like a barn owl, Tara. Just got sentenced to 8 years in prison. 8 years.
What did they do?
She participated in a protest of a pipeline. Her name is Jessica Resnick.
Right.
She's a water protector. And they just handed her an 8-year federal prison sentence for trying to stop the Dakota Access Pipeline, which threatened the drinking water, bathing water, cooking water, living on Earth water for millions of people in the middle of this country. 8 years.
Wow.
On the other hand, you try to overturn the government of the United States by violently attacking the Capitol and the Constitution thereof. Oh, you've got to pick up trash for 40 hours on the side of the road. Well, damn, let's not do that again.
Well, that's another example of the of conservatives, because whatever they call themselves, it's conservatism that is the problem. But there's no accountability for them. Being a Republican means never saying you're sorry. That should be one of their taglines, along with "I know you are, but what am I?" But there's no accountability. There never is accountability for right-wingers. Now imagine if it was Black Lives Matter or Antifa who stormed the Capitol. They would be in prison for life. They would come down on them.
Well, the ones who lived.
Right, exactly. They'd still be cleaning up the blood in the halls. That's the bottom line. And most people who watched the insurrection unfold that day, many of the commentators remarked what a different reception they would have received if they were actually Black Lives Matter protesters. And I don't say Antifa, quite frankly, because there is no Antifa. I wish there was. I'm
sorry. Every time I hear some right-wing turd say Antifa, it sounds like they're anti-dental.
Right. I mean, there's no anti. There's no.
Hey man, I'm anti-tifus.
Right. It's just an ideology, but that goes to show you how disingenuous they are, because they know that Joe Biden said that at one of the debates. He said there is no Antifa. Antifa is an ideology. It's not an organization, and he's 100% correct. He gets the FBI briefing. He gets the unclassified briefings. They know. So do these Republicans, but they go out and they spread this BS about Antifa, and it reminds me of the Nazis, blaming everything on the communists and the Jews. It's the same thing. It really is.
It was the Jews, Henry, the Jews.
Right. And they make it up. They're just making up this external threat that doesn't exist. And it's not a threat. First of all, if you're an American, you should be Antifa. Every American should be anti-fascist. So
yeah, every Memorial Day I go and visit a 6-foot by 3-foot plot of ground that holds the final remains of my Antifa uncle.
Right, exactly.
Who, didn't come home alive from Europe in 1944. Mm-hmm. He was so Antifa he was willing to die for it.
Right. exactly. And all of those men who stormed the beaches of Normandy, that was Antifa disrupting a large gathering of white supremacists. So give me a break here. And it just goes to show you how they don't have the best interests of our society at heart, because you don't behave like that. You say everything you can about the Democrats, and I will. The problem is money in politics. That's the bottom line. But you don't find the Democrats stirring up anxiety and unnecessarily, right? To just incite people, taking stupid people and pouring in misinformation.
Exactly.
Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcasts. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com, and never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.